Yeah, Kirk Burrowes, he also said in a documentary that, Diddy, he used big budget to pay for, Big's funeral.
Yeah, when I heard that, that ain't the first time I heard it though, bro. They said Big had paid for his funeral through his budget. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody would know that, Kirk Burrowes would know that. And I heard Wayne Barrows came out and said some shit, but to refute that. You know what I'm saying? But if Miss Wallace got a check and the check, if she got if they had Biggie's budget and that was taken out, money was taken out that budget for his funeral, he did use it. And if anybody knew that, Kirk Burrowes would know that because he was handling the money and the operations at that time. Wayne Barrows was one of the dudes, him and Mark Pitts, that actually was managing Big's affairs. You understand? They was his manager. Big had told me that he was gonna get rid of them because they didn't know what they was doing before he died. I had a conversation with Big. Big said, yo, I'm getting rid of them because they didn't want to F me up because they didn't want to convince him to sell his publishing and his marketing to Puff. They was Puff boys. I guess they met in school or whatever like that. But Big was gonna get rid of them. But because he died and his mother didn't know the business, she kept him around for years. If you look at anything that happened with the Notorious Biggs and his camp, you see Wayne Barrows on there as executive producer. And he was just a manager of some of Big affairs. He was executive producers of damn near everything that went on that had to do with. If Miss Wallace was the executive producer, he was the executive producer too. Look at some of the things that was done. And now he's suing, trying to get money from Faith because of, he's saying that she has to pay the Wallace estate and Miss Wallace is dead, Big is dead. If the estate is anything, it's CJ, Tatiana, and Faith. That's the estate. But he's saying there's some other kind of thing that he's suing them for. So Wayne Barrows is the dude that, call it any way you want to, there's been Sherwood Forest and he got Big them in Sherwood Forest. I'm gonna put it that way. He got his estate in Sherwood Forest.
Crazy, man. But yeah, Kirk Burrowes, he spoke a lot in his documentary, man. He was letting everything go. He also said that, Diddy, he did take the Rolling Stone cover from Big after Big died.
Bruh, you have to look at his sociopath, his narcissism, and see that it shows you he really didn't care about Big like he did. What Kirk didn't tell the truth about that whole thing is that even when we was in California, Kirk tried to act like that he didn't know that Puff told him that Big wasn't going to London. I know what the question you asked, but I gotta get this out, bro. Is that on Thursday, me and Puff was in a limousine. Kirk Burrowes was getting Puff the itinerary of what Big and what's his respecting told him that we was leaving Saturday, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. On Thursday, Puff told Kirk Burrowes, Big ain't going nowhere.
UK train tickets from 96 pence.
He told him that Thursday, Big was not going nowhere. He said, I don't care what you do, you could go, do whatever you want to do, but Big ain't going nowhere. Kirk Burrowes was telling him how he had set up this whole shit. And how Arista had paid off all this money for Big to be. Puff was adamant that Big wasn't going nowhere. Now, we were shooting the Hypnotized video. Me and Big was in the Winnebago, and Big was telling me his whole life story. What he wanted to do, his plans, all this shit like that. He even said, yo, Gene, I would take you with me, but you love that nigga too much. Nigga, I don't love nobody like that too much. What's up? He said, yo, what's up with the money? I said, nigga, you broke. You know what I'm saying? You owe Mike Gadget $30,000 for, I'm just going in on Big, and we just talking all kind of shit, smoking Newports. And Big is like, yo, showing me his contracts and all this other shit like that. I'm laughing at him, everything. So, long story short, D-Rock and Puff is out. You hear me? D-Rock and Puff is gone the whole day, and I'm sitting there with Big the whole day. You understand? That had never happened. Lil Caesar's on punishment because Lil Caesar left a bag with pictures that Charlie Baltimore went through and saw nude photos of Big and other chicks in the whole 9 yards. So now, Kirk Burrowes get on the documentary and say that Saturday morning he spoke to Puff, or whatever morning that him and Big was supposed to be going, and he could have spoke to Puff that morning, whatever like that. He could have, I can't say he didn't, but I can say that he knew that Big was not going to London because Puff told him he bet not put him on a plane. There's no way Kirk gonna sit up there and say that he thought Big was gonna go on the plane and go anyway when Puff had told him he bet he could go, but Big bet not go. And you know what happened to Big after that. So all that shit was planned, bro. And Kirk Burrowes knew about it. So he could have did something, bro. He could have let somebody know. And he didn't. And that's because of him and Puff relationship. You know what? Like, it's a lot of stuff that this documentary could have got in depth with. You understand? They may have had some other footage, even with the dude. They spoke with the dude, Wims, whose sister was one of the girls that was pregnant and died at City College. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the Muslim brothers that I found out later why the Muslims was after Puff at Soul Train. You understand? Everybody think that he had owed them some money and stuff like that, but the dude was the cousin of one of the girl who got killed at City College. And he had promised that he was going to do a monument or he was going to do some kind of supportive stuff for the City College tragedy people that he never did. And he was arguing with Puff, and that's when Mustafa had came in and tried to stop this whole situation. So, it's a lot of things that they left out that they could have put in that would have been real pertinent to show how this dude, everything and all the people around he had used and did wrong and all the shit that he promised, he never made good on none of it to nobody but himself. And now, look at him. He got a crust of bread and a corner to sleep in.
I've just been